Hey there.
Oh, hey there. I'm Bradley.
I'm Kate.
This is the History Buffoons.
Boom.
What was that intro? Oh, hey there. That was weird.
How are you?
I am well. How are you today?
I'm kicking, as the young kids say.
I don't think any kid says that.
Are you sure?
I'm almost positive. They might go tell you to kick rocks, but... but I don't think they're going to say, I'm kicking.
I'm kicking.
It's like, I'm chilling, maybe.
I'm chilling.
But not kicking.
I'm chilling like villain on penicillin.
Oh my God, stop.
Up to the ceiling.
What? I'd like to apologize in advance for the words that come out of her mouth because I don't even understand them.
Speaking of the words that come out of my mouth.
Yes.
We try not to edit a ton.
The only time I think I actually edit like something out is if we completely fuck it up.
Oh yeah, which happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get my timeline wrong, and I'm like, wait a minute, we gotta redo that.
Or you're like, shit, hold on, I gotta find this, and then I'll edit the gap of time out.
Right. Or we have to go to the bathroom, edit the time out. Yeah.
Yeah, the bathroom is the big thing. But no, we don't.
Yeah.
We keep it as is because, well, we're buffoons, whereas you just said we're unpolished.
Unpolished and raw. And I'm good with that. I like that about us. And
sorry, I gotta itch my nose.
See, we could have edited that out, but why? Everybody's got a nose that itches.
You know what's really funny is I might edit that out, but keep what you just said in. So people are gonna be like, what?
What?
I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that. No, I agree. I like that we're more just kind of just relaxing, being ourselves, being goofy. We come up with stupid shit to say about things. And like I told you before, you might flub up a word. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just laughing because I find it humorous. So
I get tongue-tied.
Tongue twister. So anyways.
Yeah.
So what
do we got today?
Well, actually, what do we got today? And then we'll...
okay. We're going to talk about the Balloonfest of 1986 in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, that's a classic.
You know of it?
Not at all.
Great.
Okay. So, we went to the store. I hadn't been in
We went to the store.
I hadn't been in this particular store in, over 2 years now, right? Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I used to sell beer there.
Oh, yeah.
So, we went to go look for some podcast beers. I found... And this is from, what is the name of the brewery? Oh, it's just called Low Daily Beer. Yeah, brewed and canned at Low Daily. Okay, so it's by Low. It's called Cowboy. It's a hazy IPA. I don't know.
Nice.
It's got a cowboy on it. It says Giddy Up at the top. Gotta love that. But it's from very close to where I live, which, again... We're in the pod loft. We haven't been in the pod loft. Mm-hmm. Oh, dear. I just hit the microphone. We haven't been in the pod loft in a bit. It just worked out where it was easier to... I kept coming up to your place to record. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it's nice to be back in the pod loft where it all began. No, it's not really. But anyways, this is from Burlington, Wisconsin, just down the road. Some IPAs are all hat and no cattle. But this one bucks like a bronco at sunset. Double dry hopped with Citra Mosaic and El Dorado hops for plenty of giddy up.
Wow.
I can't wait to get into this.
I have a Founder's Grapefruit Session Hazy Grapefruit IPA. Not Grapefruit.
Which you are a fan of the Founders All Day IPA. You've had that actually a couple times on the podcast.
Yeah, and I like grapefruit.
Yeah, like the Paloma and all that. So cheers.
That's different.
Like good different or?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet. It's different.
Well, you got 6 of them. Better figure it out by the end of the 6th one. This is really good. It's not like super hazy, but it's got a nice finish to it.
Good.
No, this is... I've never heard of them before I saw this. 7%, not too bad. All right. Let's get into this.
So,
Balloonfest, 1986.
In the mid-1980s, the United Way of Cleveland like many regional United Way chapters across the United States, relied heavily on annual fundraising campaigns.
Sure, makes sense.
To support a wide network of local charities.
Right.
So these campaigns were the primary source for funding dozens of partner organizations that depended on United Way allocations to operate.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So United Way's model at the time focused on pooling donations from individuals and businesses, and then redistributing those funds to programs that addressed community needs, such as food access, housing assistance, youth programs, health services, and support for families in crisis.
Sure, lots of stuff. Okay.
Lots of great stuff.
Yeah.
The organization functioned as a central hub, meaning that if fundraising efforts underperformed, the impact would extend beyond the organization.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
So by the mid-1980s, there was an increasing pressure. That was quick.
Yep. Oh, and by the way, I've gotten a request from a listener to release the burp track because he I believe it was he said something along the lines of we need to see your burps or whatever. I'm like, funnily enough, I have an actual burp track. He's like, release it. So I said I might actually go back through and create a better one. And I actually even asked Corey, my brother, who wrote the music for our podcast, to help me write a song based off of your burps.
Wonderful.
So I don't know if I'll get it out for the 100th, but I'm going to damn well try.
Jesus Christ. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Sorry, continue.
Okay, here we go.
She's embarrassed now.
Okay, so there was increasing pressure on nonprofit organization to compete for attention. Okay. Traditional fundraising methods, workplace donation drives, direct mail campaigns, corporate giving were still in use, but they did not always generate the level of public engagement needed to significantly expand donor participation.
Right.
So organizations began looking for ways to create events that would stand out, draw media coverage, and bring in new donors rather than relying only on existing contributors.
Well, yeah, you got to expand the pot, basically. So
Yeah.
more people can put more money in that pot. So
for United Way of Cleveland, this created a practical problem.
Okay.
They needed a fundraising approach that could do three things at once: raise money,
Yes.
increase visibility,
Check.
and involve the community.
Well, I mean, that's what it's about.
Yes.
Okay.
So enter their brilliant idea of a mass balloon release.
Not too far from where I live here in Waterford, they always have a Balloonfest where they launch hot air balloons. My mom loves hot air balloons.
Hot air balloons are different than the balloons that we're talking about today.
I know, just saying.
Yeah.
Hot air balloons. But, all right.
Just mentioning other types of balloons.
It's a balloon. You didn't say we had to only talk about wait, what words? What kind of balloons are they?
They were latex balloons.
Not Mylar?
No.
Damn.
Nope, they were latex.
I love me a Mylar balloon. It is the nicest kind of balloon.
Is that like foil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's those ones you see at stores, and you go and buy Vesper Minnie Mouse, Mylar balloon or something or whatever. But anyway, sorry. I'm just being stupid.
Let's not edit that out because we don't do that.
Okay, let that go. We got it. We got there before.
So releasing a bunch of balloons, relatively simple in concept.
So what, they put like a note on it?
A note?
Like why would you just release balloons?
For the
Balloon Fest.
Yeah, it's a community event, and they wanted donors.
So just release balloons into the air?
Mm-hmm. So each balloon could be tied symbolically to a contribution, reinforcing the connection between participation and fundraising.
Wait, they didn't actually tie money to these balloons, did they?
No.
Because you said a contribution.
Symbolically.
Okay, thank God. I must have glossed over that symbolic word.
The larger the number of balloons, the greater the perceived success of the event, both in terms of donation and community involvement.
Did these balloons take a plane down?
No.
Thank God.
So I'll get to that. I will say this: Balloonfest '86 was called a disaster.
100%.
So I will get to that.
So when I said, "Oh yeah, it's a great one" or whatever, you're like, you know about it. I think I've heard of this. I know nothing about it though.
Yeah.
So
there was also an additional incentive.
Okay.
Setting a world record.
Of how many balloons were released into the air?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I have heard of this.
So achieving a record would increase the likelihood of national attention and extending the reach beyond Cleveland.
Well, of course.
Right? So the focus was on scale, visibility, participation, with the assumption that a large, coordinated public event would generate a stronger response than traditional methods alone.
How much helium did they use?
You know, I didn't look into how much, but it gonna be lots.
Because
it gonna be lots.
The greater Cleveland area is on a fucking helium.
We got a helium shortage.
Get over to Cincinnati and pick us some up. What the fuck?
So before Balloonfest '86 was organized in Cleveland, large-scale balloon releases had already been done successfully elsewhere.
Oh, okay, sure.
One of the most influential examples came from the Walt Disney Company.
Okay, what did they do?
They had almost, well, I don't know if it was weekly mass balloon releases, but it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were events.
Like at their parks?
At their parks, yeah. They would have mass balloon releases.
Okay. Were they like shaped like the characters?
No, I think they were maybe 50 to 100 in a bag that each person would hold, and then each person would essentially like open the bag and they would all
float up.
So each individual person had a ton of balloons.
Right.
This situation, they're doing it different.
Clearly.
Yes.
Okay.
So timing, weather conditions, and controlled environment played a significant role in making this successful.
Right. Yeah.
The company most directly connected to these large-scale releases, and the one that becomes important for Cleveland, was a Los Angeles-based promotional firm called Balloonart by Treb. And it was founded by Treb Heining.
What's his last name?
Heining. Heining? Heining. Heining.
Heining.
Mm-hmm.
Treb Heining. That is a fucking weird name. Treb?
I like it, though.
Like, hey, man, where's bass? I don't know. Treb's over there.
Right.
Bass in trouble. I don't know if you got that.
Yeah,
but
I got that. Thank you.
I'm surprised. Did you really get that? What I was referring to? Okay.
Yes. The trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a really good Star Trek episode from the original series called The Trouble with Tribbles. Anyways, let's carry on.
Please. So, Heining had built a reputation for organizing large balloon events, including the Disney productions and other high-profile campaigns.
He's the go-to guy, if you will.
Yes.
In balloon releasing.
Yes.
What a fucking weird job title.
It is.
Hey, man, I really want to release some balloons. I know a guy.
Treb.
We're calling Treb. What the fuck? Wow.
So his experience made him one of only a few people in the country who had managed these mass scale releases.
You want to know why?
That mattered because while the concept of releasing balloons is simple, doing it with hundreds or thousands or millions of balloons increases logistical challenges.
Well, yeah.
Most organizations have never worked with.
Well, of course, because why? Were they trying to go for the Guinness Book of World Records in this too?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the added incentive.
Right.
World record.
I mean, I'm not one for liking to litter on the earth, but I feel like that's what they did.
They didn't have the same mindset about the earth and littering as we do today. So we'll just have to take that into account of what year it is. And
what month was this?
This was done in September of 1986.
Okay, so we're almost at the 40-year anniversary of the tragic balloon release. Okay, nice.
So they brought in Balloonart by Treb to handle the technical and logistical side of the release.
I think that might be our title.
Balloonart by Treb.
Yes.
So this included designing the containment structure.
That would hold all the balloons prior to release?
Yes.
Okay.
Planning the inflation and loading process, coordinating the timing for the release, and advising on execution based on previous events.
Do you think Treb got pissed because some kid let his balloons go too early?
Balloons did escape.
Oh, of course.
But no.
With the amount that they're trying to do, I assume, because you haven't even said the amount yet. So
No, I haven't.
But I'm pretty sure it's... Please don't do that ever again. Or I'll show you a picture of a clown. Anyways.
Rude.
See, you fucking derailed me there. This beer is really good.
You were talking about Treb being upset about children releasing balloons too early.
I said that, and then we were talking about something else after that.
The number of balloons. Let's continue.
Let's move on because
Balloonart by Treb
I'm gonna laugh every fucking time you say that.
provided the operational framework, but the final outcome still depended on some external factors, aka the weather.
Well, of course, weather's obviously a huge factor into this because if it's windy, rainy, whatever, you know. So
Yes.
yeah, that's a huge thing. So
along hiring Balloonart by Treb to oversee the balloon logistics, they also relied on architectural and engineering experts to create what became known as the balloon containment structure.
sure.
So this was a large netted enclosure built in Public Square, which is their downtown.
Oh, I was wondering, like, do they do this out in the field, which I felt like would have been a better idea than doing it downtown.
They did it downtown.
That's crazy.
And it was designed specifically to hold 2 million inflated balloons before release.
That is a lot of fucking balloons.
a lot of balloons.
What? Again, how much helium? Seriously, that's, oh my God, 2 million balloons.
Yeah.
Do we have like a schematic of the balloon? Do we have some dimensions and stuff for these, or
No, it's a traditional looking balloon.
just literally
Yep.
a bulbous?
Very traditional.
Okay.
Yep.
Nothing crazy.
No.
No Minnie
As
Mouses.
part of their structure, they did have very, very large weather balloons that held down one part of the netting, and those would be released to release the net.
Oh,
if that makes sense.
Okay, so you have a net across, let's say 4 corners, weather balloons. All right, weather balloons up.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that was a dumb way to do it. What do I know? I'm not Treb.
We're not Treb, yeah. So
The fucking name is just crazy.
it needed to keep the balloons contained despite the constant upward pressure created by the volume of the helium.
Sure.
It had to remain stable while thousands of balloons were added over hours of preparation.
I have to sneeze. I apologize. You can keep going.
And it had to allow for a... There it is.
Oh, excuse me.
Just the one?
Bless me. No, I'm not like you. I don't do it twice.
Oh, Gesundheit.
Thank you.
It had to also allow for a controlled release so that when the moment came, the entire mass could be let go at once.
Well, yeah. I mean, they have to coordinate this whole thing so it's not like a trickle, right?
We're like, oh, there's 3.
Hey.
Oh, there's 5 more.
It's kind of like they wanted to get to the grand finale of a fireworks display.
Yeah.
Right away.
Right
Not
away.
just be like,
Yeah. Right.
and then,
So volunteers working around it and within it, feeding balloons into the closure, packing them tightly together until the space was filled with a compressed, shifting mass of color. There were also multiple layers of planning in place, specialized event coordinators, a purpose-built containment system, and a large volunteer workforce, all working towards the same moment. The expectation was that once released, the balloons would rise, disperse, and move away from the city. The structure did its job.
Yeah.
It held the balloons and it allowed them to release it all at once. What it could not do was account for what would happen after that release.
of course.
When control shifted from the design of the event to the weather conditions outside the event.
So I wish we could play a song without getting dinged for like whatever. Because I would totally play 99 Red Balloons in the background by Nina. Mm-hmm. Do you know they were German?
German, yeah, because it came out in the German language first.
And then they translated it or whatever into
Luftballons.
Was it Goldfinger? Yeah, I think it's Goldfinger. They're a ska band from like the 90s or whatever. They have an awesome version of that song. It's very underrated, if in my world at least. I don't know about the rest of the world, but anyways.
So in Public Square in Cleveland, the containment system took the form of a large rectangular framework made of scaffolding and support poles rising several stories high. Over that frame, a wide netting was stretched and secured, creating a fully enclosed space that could hold the balloons without letting them escape prematurely. From the outside, it resembled a giant mesh box or cage with the netting pulled tight enough to contain movement, but still flexible enough to shift slightly under pressure.
Sure.
Inside, as more balloons were added, the net would begin to bulge outward in places.
I'm sorry, I have to say something real quick. Because you said premature, all I can think of is premature balloon. I can't even say it now because I'm fumbling over my words. Let's move on.
Okay.
Premature.
Yeah, I
Inhalation.
The balloons were packed densely, filling the enclosure from the bottom up until it became a compressed mass pressing against every side.
Sure.
The top of the...
So did they have like the netting, like, was it almost kind of like domed?
Yeah.
What? Okay, because I can't imagine you can't like have us go straight because it'd start slipping out the sides and whatnot.
No.
How many yellow balloons did they have? Anyways, did they have, how many, do you know the colors of the balloons?
Yellow was a part of one. Blue.
Part of one?
Red.
Pink.
Purple. I mean, the regular balloons, Bradley.
Chartreuse?
At the top of the structure...
I felt like that was a decent question.
Sections of the netting were designed to be released on cue.
Okay. With the weather balloons to raise, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
The system was set up that when the release mechanism was triggered, large portions of the net would give way at once, allowing the balloons to escape upward in a single coordinated surge.
Jesus.
We're going to go backwards a little bit on September 26th, which is a day before the event.
This was right around my birthday?
Uh-huh.
Do you know when my birthday is?
September 25th.
Okay. So this was on Patrick's birthday that the day it happened? Nice. I like it. Anyways, Patrick's a buddy. Shout out, Pat.
Okay.
We went to Germany together.
On September 26th, 1986, two men, Bernard Sulzer and Raymond Broderick, set out to fish on Lake Erie near Cleveland.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
There was nothing unusual about this decision. They were both experienced with the lake. They were both experienced fishermen.
Okay.
Fishing trips were routine, and the conditions that morning did not appear extreme. Weather reports for that day did indicate a cold front moving into the region.
Okay.
That typically brings shifting winds, cooler air, rain.
Sure.
None of these conditions were ideal, but it was also not uncommon for fishermen on Lake Erie to experience this.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. So people just need good judgment, how quickly the weather changes and how prepared they are when it does.
Okay.
At some point, Sulzer and Broderick launched their boat, headed out onto the lake. There was no record of like their exact route or anything.
Okay.
After they left shore, conditions on the lake began to deteriorate.
Oh, dear.
Wind increased.
Choppy.
Wind increased first, creating rougher water and more difficult navigation.
Oh, I can imagine.
As the front continued to move in, rain and reduced visibility followed.
Okay.
On Lake Erie, these changes can happen pretty quickly, and the lake is known for short, steep waves that can become hazardous in a relatively short amount of time.
Have you ever been on Lake Erie in your life? I never have myself.
No. I've been on the really small one, Lake St. Clair, Lake St. Clair.
Is that a Great Lake?
Yeah, it's a small one. Yeah.
I guess I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on Lake Superior?
I don't know.
Which I believe is the biggest.
It is the biggest.
Great Lake. I used to swim in there all the time, and it was so cold. It was so fucking amazing. I've never been to Lake Erie though. Very unfamiliar. Well, I mean, the first time I was in Ohio was last year. So I would like to go there, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I'd like to go to all the Great Lakes. Yeah. I didn't know if you've ever been on it or not. So I've never have. So I'd like to go there.
Good.
Okay.
So,
wow.
While Broderick and Sulzer were out on Lake Erie, those same conditions were affecting the shoreline in the city of Cleveland.
Sure. Well, that makes sense.
So at the same time, they were still planning this huge balloon release. The large containment structure built to hold 2 million balloons had been assembled and secured with netting and protective tarps, right?
Yep.
Sometime after midnight, early morning hours of the 27th.
Okay.
The storm activity intensified.
Oh, no.
And the balloon site was checked.
And the what site was
Balloon site.
Oh, balloon site.
Yeah,
okay.
After midnight.
All right.
Reports indicate that section of the protective tarps had been torn down by the wind.
Okay.
Even those like metal newspaper holders. You know, when you went to go buy like a newspaper, you'd have to like pull down the glass and go.
I just love the fact that you called them metal newspaper holders.
That was torn down.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So there was visible damage to the netting itself, including several tears.
Did you ever buy a newspaper from one of those?
No.
I'm old enough that I have.
This damage showed that the structure had been exposed to significant stress from overnight weather.
Okay.
Despite this, the containment center remained standing and relatively functional.
That's surprising.
The damage became part of the assessment heading into the morning of the 27th when organizers decided what they needed to do to proceed.
So they just had to like assess like everything's A-okay, let's go ahead, or
they had to assess the damage. There was damage. Yeah.
Okay.
There was netting torn and some of the tarps were torn.
Okay.
Out on the lake, there was no safety system in place.
No. Why would there be?
If Broderick and Sulzer encountered mechanical issues or were forced to respond to worsening conditions during the night, their situation would have depended entirely on their ability to manage the boat and remain on board during rough water.
Right.
There are no confirmed records of their accounts during this overnight period.
Okay.
No distress calls were documented. No verified sightings placed them at a specific point.
Gotcha.
What is known is that by the morning of September 27th, they had not returned to their families.
Oh, no. Did they? They never did?
They never did.
Oh, wow. Really?
By the time daylight returned to Cleveland, two situations were happening in parallel. On land, they were trying to figure out if this balloon release was going to happen. On the lake, this fishing trip turned into a missing persons.
Oh, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
That's really too bad.
So the entire event depended on this structure.
Yes.
If the net failed, obviously the balloons could escape prematurely, ending the event before it would even start. So volunteers and organizers were brought back during the night at like 1 a.m.
It's like, dude, I'm sleeping. What do you need?
Yeah. So
Holy shit.
So they either had to repair the structure and continue with the plan, or they had to accept that the event might not happen.
They say abandon.
Yeah.
Abandon the event, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
The frame itself remained intact. So the main issue was just the outer layers, the netting and the tarps that were responsible for that containment.
Right.
Repairs focused on reinforcing those weak points.
Okay.
Torn sections of netting were secured or patched, and damaged tarps were either reattached or adjusted to restore coverage.
Sure.
So coordination even at that bright and early hour.
Yeah, I mean, but it's the day of it's supposed to happen,
Mm-hmm.
so they're just trying to get all their ducks in a row and make sure it's going to work / everything's safe or whatever, I guess. But this is crazy that they had to go through all that with the storm. they're worried about balloons and 2 fucking people are missing.
They didn't know that.
I get that, but
Yeah.
it's just, I understand they didn't know that, but at the same time, and like, now that you and I do,
Yeah.
retrospect,
So the
it's like,
families didn't
fuck.
even know that they were missing.
Oh, really?
Oh, like they were supposed to have come home that night,
But they're like,
the 26th?
maybe they stayed out on the boat.
something like that. Or, yeah.
shit.
So they didn't report them as missing until like the morning hours of the 27th.
God damn.
Yeah. So,
But it just, again, I get that. They didn't know. The families apparently didn't even fully know yet.
Yeah.
It's just, it's funny thinking about that. Like, man, we got to figure out these balloons. People are literally missing. And again, I know they didn't know, but it's like, that's just fucking weird to think about.
yeah.
Balloons. What?
So volunteers worked around and along the structure, stabilizing it. By the time the storm had passed, the morning approached, the structure had been repaired to a functional state.
Okay.
Okay?
Gotcha.
So, groups, hundreds of volunteers. We're
Yes.
talking high school students. Hundreds of high school students are all arriving by bus around 3 a.m. on the 27th.
Holy balls.
They are the volunteers that are blowing up the balloons.
Blowing up the, wait, so the balloons aren't even blown up yet?
Not some were, but no, this was like the mass coordinated effect started at like 3 a.m.
Oh my God. Those are some go-getter high schoolers. Because I would not have done that in high school.
So, the morning as the balloons were being blown up and released into the net, the amount of pressure gave way to a hole in the net at the very tippy top that was missed during the repair stage.
No.
Balloons were starting to be released.
You're like, stop it.
So the organizers had a cherry picker with them, but it didn't go as high as they needed it to go.
Well, of course, because I feel in my mind, I just picture like this fucking net way fuck up
It's
there.
way up there.
Oh, dear.
One of the organizers literally had the private phone number of the fire chief, and he called him.
Chief, we need you.
And the fire department brought out their largest cherry picker, and they were able to repair the tent.
So they brought out a cherry picker, not a ladder?
The ladder would do nothing. It had to be up in the air, a bucket up in the air.
Let's move on.
You're talking about actually cherry picking?
Never mind.
Okay.
I'm not talking about either. I was just, in my mind, you said firefighter ladder.
Oh.
That's all. It's literally all I'm thinking in my brain.
So, in the lead up to Balloonfest 86 in Cleveland, the scale of the event depended on all of these volunteers.
Oh, of course.
The United Way of Cleveland had the concept and the goal. Balloonart by Treb provided the framework.
Sorry, I keep laughing at that.
But the execution came down to thousands of volunteers moving through this repetitive process per hour. Okay. Many of the students were brought in through the organized participation. Like in the weeks leading up to this, the organizers went around to schools and say, okay, who can we get to volunteer?
Sure.
So people were assigned roles. They worked in shifts, but immediately what it was, I think I get to the numbers. I get to the numbers eventually.
Okay,
I don't need to jump the gun.
No,
but
don't do that.
Inflation began the day before a little bit, but it mostly started in the early hours of the 27th.
3 a.m.
Yes. So fill and load approximately 2 million helium balloons in the containment structure before the scheduled release that afternoon.
That's crazy. 2 million fucking balloons. That's so many. Okay.
Volunteers they sat at helium tanks fitted with nozzles, inflating balloons one after the other. Once filled, each balloon had to be tied off by hand.
Oh, dear. I suppose. I mean, it's 86. It's like medieval times.
So the inflation step is not what dictated the pace. It was the tying off that dictated the pace.
Have you ever tied off a balloon?
Many times.
Yeah.
It's hard. It can be hard.
Myself am terrible at it.
Yeah.
I remember Vesper got some... I don't remember what the hell we got, but we got some balloons. Dad, will you blow me up a balloon? Sure, here you go. Will you tie it off? I'm like, I'm terrible at it. So I can see how that would basically slow them down, especially if they're doing it all by hand. Holy balls.
Inflate, tie, release.
How many
Inflate, tie, release.
How many high school students do you think were sucking helium?
Oh, I don't know. I think they were, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they were some good kids and they were excited to be there to help.
There had to have been one.
So,
okay.
Based on the total volume
Yes.
and the available time,
Yes.
the operation required the equivalent of tens of thousands of balloons being released each hour.
That's crazy.
Broken down further, that meant well over 1,000 balloons per minute moving through the system as a whole.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
So the organizer said 2 to 3 balloons per minute per person.
Was there people going, "You're slowing down there, Betsy"? And it's like, what? I'm trying my best, sir.
I watched this YouTube video, and you could see all these volunteers with massive tape around all their fingers just from blisters and stuff.
Seriously? Mm-hmm. That's so funny. What did I don't know if you came across it. What did they tie it off with? Is it just literally the end of the balloon, or did they have
the
something?
end.
Okay.
Nope, the end of the balloon.
I wasn't sure because I meant to clarify when I said I'm terrible at it because that's what I'm bad at, like stretching it around. I have big digits, so hard for me, but I wasn't sure if they were using other things. So anyways.
So by the early afternoon of September 27th, 1986, downtown Cleveland had turned into a full-scale public event.
War. Oh.
Estimates put the crowd at around 100,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
Filling Public Square and the surrounding areas.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Part of that expectation for something bigger and better came from the fact that Guinness World Records officials were present.
Of course. What is your best guess? I'm sure you probably didn't look this up. Wasn't part of your research. We haven't used that in a while. You got to get back to that because it's so true. What is the population of Cleveland?
That was not part of my research.
Okay. Let's move on. Guinness Book of World Records, am I right? Did you know that's actually created by the beer people? Mm-mm. Yeah, that's where literally Guinness.
Cool.
The beer company from over there created that.
Cool.
Okay.
So
seemed really lackluster. Anyways.
Awesome. You don't drink Guinness.
No, but I know beer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to get this story wrong, so I'll make it short and wrong. It came out, if I'm not mistaken, and again, we'll have to actually look into this because I don't recall all the details. They basically did it to try and promote Guinness is more or less what it was. Again, we'll look into this for maybe a future episode or Origin Weird or something, but it's literally that's what it was, is like promoting Guinness. And it became this Guinness Book of World Records thing, which has been around for a long time. I mean, I remember being a kid going to the library, we want to check out the next, the most recent updated version of that book and whatever. It's like, I don't care anymore.
My sister got it every Christmas.
Did she really? Mm-hmm. So
she loved it.
Your parents got her the updated version with the new records or new things added. That's funny. I never would have guessed that, but that's awesome.
So this was an official record attempt, and everything needed to happen to be documented and confirmed.
Precise and everything, yeah.
At the same time, weather conditions were being monitored. They actually had people from the National Weather Service on the phone.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean,
they tried really hard to be super prepared.
Well, you have to be, because you're literally dealing with balloons that can go any which way.
Yeah.
And a storm comes through, it could fuck up their blah, blah, blah. We've already went through that. But yeah, I would hope you have them on speed dial right now.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Did they have speed dial in 1986?
I don't know.
Okay.
The National Weather Service had indicated that additional storms were moving into the area.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. They were not expected to be as severe as the overnight system.
Right.
But they were still strong enough to matter.
Okay.
There was a narrowing window to complete the release before conditions worsened.
Okay.
So originally, the event had been planned for a slightly later release, closer to 2 p.m.
Sure.
Excuse me. As forecasts were being reassessed, organizers made a decision to move it up to 145.
Oh, so they pushed it forward. Okay.
The total number of balloons had also been adjusted.
Oh, did they have to cut it back?
They cut it back from 2 million to 1.5, which is still a record.
100%. But that's the number that went in my brain pan
Really?
when you said cut back. I'm like, it's got to be 1.5.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine how much time they saved by cutting off 500,000 fucking balloon? Jesus Christ.
So the countdown begins.
Countdown begins.
At the end of the countdown, the mechanism is triggered.
And does it work?
The net, yes. The net opens and approximately 1.5 balloons, because I'm sure they didn't count.
It's funny because you said 1.5 balloons.
1.5 million balloons. There's 1.5.
I'd like to see a half balloon. What the fuck, dude? Yeah, pretty much. Oh, that's awesome. 1.5 balloons.
It unfolded exactly how it was planned to.
Okay. But
within minutes of the release,
yes,
weather conditions began to shift.
Deteriorate?
Yes. Okay. Rain started to fall, wind speeds increased, changing how the balloons behaved almost immediately after they had lifted.
Right.
Helium balloons depend on stable air and temperature to maintain lift.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, I'm not an expert on helium, obviously, but have you ever had a helium balloon where you're like I've gotten one for Vesper or whatever, where it's cold and it's like,
yeah,
or whatever, it shrinks down or it affects it. It's so weird how it does, but it's a gas, so it does get affected by heat and
as
so on.
the colder air moves in, the helium inside the balloons contracts, which reduces buoyancy.
That's the word I'm looking for, yeah.
At the same time, rain added weight.
Yep. Oh, sure, yeah.
To the surface of the balloons.
Correct, because they're getting wet.
So together, those two factors caused the balloons to lose altitude much sooner than planned.
Yes.
Instead of continuing to rise and disperse, large portions of the 1.5 million balloons began descending within a short time.
Did it suffocate people and trap them?
No.
They were saying? Okay, good.
Thankfully, no. Some balloons remained intact and were carried back downwards by shifting wind.
Okay.
Others began to deflate as the latex stretched and cooled.
Okay.
At higher altitudes, a portion of the balloons likely expanded to lower air pressure and then ruptured, which is common.
Of course.
It's common for helium balloons if they rise too far.
To blow up, basically.
So,
excuse me.
As the descent accelerated, visibility started to become an issue.
Well, yeah, because you're getting 1.5 million, even if it's 500,000 balloons coming down, another million are going up.
Yeah. So on the ground, large clusters of balloons moved through the air and settled across streets and sidewalks and open areas.
Sure.
Drivers reported difficulty seeing clearly as they were still trying to make their way to public square. So they're all lined up on the roads. And all of a sudden, these balloons are coming down upon them.
I know this is a random question, and you're going to probably hate me for this because you're like, man, I don't know. What day of the week was this? Do you know?
I don't.
Was it a weekend? Would you guess?
I honestly had never read that.
Okay.
What day of the week it is?
I can't look it up right now, but I'm curious because, if it was a Saturday, that's one thing. If it's like, hey man, I'm trying to get to work.
I hope not. But
you would think not. Yeah. But
so
I don't know. I was born on a Tuesday in 1979. I could probably figure this out.
No.
Okay.
Just listen.
All right.
So near the lakefront and surrounding infrastructure, the effect was a little bit more pronounced.
Sure. Balloons
landing in large numbers created a visual field that in some areas were compared to like a whiteout effect.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
A color blast effect.
Let that one sink in, folks.
Because of the volume of objects moving and settling at once, disrupting, obviously, the normal lines of sight.
Of course, yes.
So, at Burke Lakefront Airport, which is about a mile from Public Square on the shore, operations were directly affected.
No doubt.
The organizers actually called the FAA before the event ever happened.
Yeah.
And got permission to release these balloons so close to an airport. And it was all okayed.
And you said it was a mile?
It was a mile.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, how major of an airport is this? It's not like a
It's private only.
Exactly.
Private,
So,
yeah.
Okay.
But they still went through the motions of contacting the appropriate people. And
they did the right thing.
They did.
Because they should have done that. But it's not like, hey, we're going to close down a major airport because of this.
The airport issued like a no-fly zone during that time. Balloons entering the airspace and landing on or near the runways kind of did create a little bit of a hazard.
Sure.
But there were reports that flights were temporarily halted.
Okay.
Until conditions cleared the area.
Sure. Makes sense.
I'll bring that up later.
Oh, dear. Okay.
At the same time, balloons continued to descend onto Lake Erie.
Oh, no.
Once upon the water, they remained visible on the surface, moving with wind and current.
Sure.
This created widespread coverage across parts of the lake, adding to the overall impact. Organizers had anticipated that a relatively small portion of balloons, like 10%, were going to end up on the lake.
It's 150,000.
Estimates after the event said as much as 60% of the balloons landed on Lake Erie.
So, did they help find those two guys?
I'll get to that.
Oh, no.
Because we have two missing fishermen.
Yes, we do.
By the time search efforts began, the situation involving Raymond Broderick and Bernard Sulzer had already shifted from this routine outing to a missing persons case.
That's sad.
Both men were in their 40s and experienced enough with the lake to make the decision to go out the day before.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The United States Coast Guard located their boat during the search.
Oh, really?
It was found unattended on the water with no one on board. Records indicates that the vessel was not in normal operating state and there were potential issues with the motor. I also read that there was no motor.
Oh, shit.
So not sure which one was correct.
So they had to...
It varies from different reports.
Yeah.
But the key detail was that there was no sign of the men.
Maybe the motor just fell off.
We don't know.
Let's go to the bottom of Lake Erie and get to this.
So with that discovery, the operation turned into a search and rescue.
Yes.
So rescue boats were deployed on the lake, working grid patterns across the area where the men were believed to have been.
Balloon.
At the same time, a Coast Guard helicopter, which was in a nearby area creating some kind of promotional videos, was actually called over to help.
Oh, it's hey, can you interrupt your commercial to help us? Okay, wow.
They were brought in. So aerial search is absolutely crucial in situations like this.
Yes.
At this point, there was no connection between the search teams and the balloons releasing in Cleveland.
Yep.
The search operation had already begun prior to the release.
Right.
And there was no indication that large numbers of balloons would be descending in the same area. As the balloons began to fall, condition on the lake changed.
Oh, dear.
From the air, the surface of the water became increasingly difficult to read. Large numbers of balloons had landed and were floating across the lake, forming clusters. And this created a very small visual field. And they were also rounded objects that reflected some of the sunlight.
So would you be okay to just call it a clusterfuck?
Kind of, yeah.
That's too bad because it's just weird that these balloons could fuck up finding these people.
From a distance, from the helicopter, floating balloons resembled objects that could indicate a person in distress.
Of course.
Life jackets, debris.
A head.
Yes. In a search operation, every potential visual target has to be treated as important until it's confirmed otherwise.
Well, of course, yes. That makes sense.
So the teams were forced to investigate multiple false leads.
Well, I would hope they didn't investigate the blue balloons.
Why blue?
Have you ever seen a blue person besides the Blue Man Group? No.
At the same time, the helicopter's ability to operate effectively was affected.
Well, of course.
With balloons occupying airspace and creating hazards near the surface, flight operations became complicated.
Sure.
Records indicate that at least one helicopter, if there was more than one, I don't know, but it was forced to limit its activity and return due to the conditions created by the balloons.
How do you think the balloons reacted to like the helicopter blades and everything? Because obviously that creates wind and updraft and all that stuff.
I think it would depend on how close the helicopter was to the water.
Of course, but could you imagine how that would fuck with them too?
Yeah.
Because whether it actually, again, like you said, distance is going to affect that, but like they're moving the fucking balloons around too because they're just hovering over whatever.
Yeah.
I've never been on a helicopter, so I don't know the
downdraft and all that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I can't imagine that fucking helped, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That had to make it way harder.
So rescue crews had to navigate through areas on the lake where balloons had accumulated.
Okay.
Despite continued efforts, neither man was located during the initial search.
Oh, sad.
Yeah. The bodies of Raymond Broderick and Bernard Sulzer were not found for several weeks.
So they eventually did find them. Okay.
Yes.
Sad.
In the aftermath, the focus shifted from what happened to who was responsible for what came next.
Okay.
The families of Raymond Broderick and Bernard Sulzer filed legal action arguing that the balloon release had interfered with search efforts at a critical time. Additional claims were brought forward related to property damage from the balloons and other impacts tied to the event.
Sure.
The lawsuits did not play out in public courtrooms.
No?
No, they were settled out of court.
They were, okay.
Bringing a legal end to the situation without a formal ruling.
Treb wasn't in court, was he?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was against United Way.
It should be. Balloons by Treb.
Yes. So the release itself, approximately 1.5 million balloons in downtown Cleveland, was recorded as a world record.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised.
It appeared in the 1988 edition of the Guinness Book of World Records, documenting the scale of what was accomplished.
That was a good version of that.
Between the new world record and the missing men, both became part of Balloonfest of 86.
Part of the lexicon of it, the tragedy or whatever you want to call it. But
so that's where I was going to end the story.
Oh, dear. What did you find out?
But with continued research, I found a lot of this was not true.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I wrote all of that.
Wait, what?
I wrote all of that.
I've been duped for the last 50 minutes.
So there were claims that Balloonfest caused the deaths of 2 fishermen. Okay. I did write in that was not the case. Okay.
Yes.
They were, they went out the night before, went missing the night before, and the families put in the missing persons report that morning.
Which happened to be the day of Balloonfest.
Yes. But the Coast Guard was not affected whatsoever by the balloons on Lake Erie.
I'm not surprised.
So they made somewhere in the reports.
It was made up.
It was made up.
It sounds like the family trying to fucking blame something.
It wasn't. It was some kooky reporter from 2011 who made all these weird claims. And then everybody took that as fact and ran with it up until now.
I want to find this kooky fucking reporter and punch him in the fucking face. Or her. I don't discriminate.
So the balloons did not cause their death. The Coast Guard had no issues with the balloons.
I never thought that the balloons did cause their death. I could believe it might have impaired the
research
the search
effort.
the search effort.
Yes.
I could believe that, but okay. What the fuck?
There was also a report saying that there was property damage.
Yeah.
The only confirmed payout mentioned was a small insurance settlement around $5,000.
Oh, dear.
Related to a horse farm.
Okay.
Okay.
Did a horse eat a balloon?
So Horses were spooked. I don't even think they were damaged or hurt in any way. They were spooked. The farmers were upset about it, but it wasn't the balloons. There were this was debunked later.
Okay.
There were kids that were going into this farmhouse area.
The field and shit?
The field where the horses were, and the kids were what spooked the animals.
Yeah.
Not the balloons.
Kids spook a lot of things. Mm-hmm. My kids spook me all the time.
Also, the environmental aspect of this was also blown into a huge issue as well, which I did not talk about because these balloons were actually biodegradable latex balloons.
Sure.
It could take up to 2 years, but they were biodegradable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
There was also a report that said their Guinness Book of World Records was revoked because of the event. It was not.
It was not.
'Twas not.
'Twas the tism, my lord.
'Twas the tism.
Well, yeah, because what? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So there was a bunch of stuff that was in the news that was not true at all. It's very, very bizarre.
That is strange.
They called it the Balloonfest disaster of 86. There was no disaster.
So it sounds like they were literally just trying to create what's the word I'm looking for? A disaster.
False narrative.
Out of nothing.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? Do you know what news outlets do all the fucking time?
Create false narratives?
Yeah. You could go off of anything. And it's funny how certain people believe it. It's like...
So I found a YouTube video.
Yeah.
It's called Balloonfest 1986, What Really Happened.
Oh.
And it was put up by Cleveland.com.
So...
They interview United Way organizers.
Yes.
They interview the governor. Of the time. They interviewed Balloonart by Treb.
He's still alive.
Oh yeah, they interviewed some of the high schooler volunteers as their adults.
Yep.
They're like, nothing happened. Even the rain.
Blame it on the...
It wasn't even an issue. The weather wasn't even an issue.
So...
It rained for like a couple minutes, very light. No one even got umbrellas out. And then it was gone.
No one even got umbrella. So what is the benefit of whoever created the narrative?
I have no idea.
Of it was such a disaster. Woe is me. People couldn't get saved because of balloons. It's like, fuck you, you pile of shit. Mm-hmm. What the fuck?
Like, he just created this false narrative and everybody else just ran with it. And so Cleveland literally came out with this documentary being like, all that was wrong.
Douchebag over there.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
He should have all of his credentials revoked.
Yeah.
He should be tie as many balloons to him as possible and make him float the fuck away. Because fuck that guy.
Yeah, isn't that weird? So.
Yeah, it is weird. It's like, fuck you, dude. Why would you create this narrative? But that's what the fucking media does. They create false fucking narratives for fucking everything so it can divide people. Divide people against each other. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, especially politically, we all know that. And that's the major one. But even just other things, it's like...
Yeah.
What did you gain from this besides some recognition in the time being? But now you're called an asshole by Bradley Akers because you're a fucking asshole. And I know I don't mean dick, but fuck that guy.
Okay, so let me end on this.
Yes.
The project, the whole event.
Yeah.
Was around $500,000 in 1986.
$500,000.
Which is about $1.5 million now.
Okay.
Balloonfest of 86 brought in a donation of a whopping $47 million back then.
That's pretty good.
$142 million today.
Well, they got their job done.
Isn't that amazing?
Balloons by Treb, am I right?
Balloonfest of 86 was not a disaster.
It was a glorious
Nor
occasion.
is Cleveland the mistake on the lake anymore.
No. Do you know what the mistake on the lake is?
Detroit?
No, the Bears Stadium. Looks like the toilet bowl. Anyway, I mean, fuck the Bears.
So how do you feel about your cowboy?
It's fucking delicious.
Good.
I've been really hoping you would end this soon so I can get a third.
I did not like my all-day grapefruit.
No.
I know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, you're going to have to finish it.
Oh.
Well, choke it down.
All right. Well.
All right.
Well.
I suppose. All right, buffoons. That's it for today's episode.
Buckle up because we've got another historical adventure waiting for you next time. Feeling hungry for more buffoonery? Or maybe you have a burning question or a wild historical theory for us to explore?
Hit us up on social media. We're History Buffoons Podcast on YouTube, X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email us at historybuffoonspodcast@gmail.com. We are Bradley and Kate. Music by Corey Akers.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts and turn those notifications on to stay in the loop.
Until next time, stay curious and don't forget to rate and review us.
Remember, the buffoonery never stops.